By the end of this video, you'll never look at a food label the same way again. You'll be able to spot the tricks designed to manipulate you, see through the better brands selling the same poison, and uncover a radical approach that bypasses the entire system. But here's the twist. It's not about picking the right products, it's about something deeper, something they absolutely don't want you to find out. So stick around. This isn't just another health tip, it's about reclaiming something they quietly stole from you. And here's what really gets me. Marketing has weaponized some of our deepest values against us, right? They've turned our moral compass into a targeting system for their profit and their profit alone. I spent 10 years as a vegan because I genuinely believed it was the healthiest way to eat. And I'm still not entirely convinced that it's the worst way to eat, right? But here's what nobody told me. I don't know if I was getting better. My energy was a little off and my digestion was a mess. I can see that now in hindsight. I did everything right though, according to the experts. But when I bring up these concerns, I was told maybe I need some more supplements or to try different brands and stick with it longer. I was a pretty good customer. But in hindsight, I felt completely bamboozled. But that's how they operate, you know, that's how those brands operate. They take your values, your health, wellness, longevity goals, and package them up to sell it back to you, right? So your genuine desire to feel good becomes their revenue system. It's psychological parasitism, right? But trust is what they're really selling. The food, the service, the gadgets, that's all secondary. What they're manufacturing is your belief in them. And once you trust them, they got you because that's how you're going to vote. You vote with your money. But look at the design choices on any package. Those fonts and colors, they're not random. They're psychologically tested, right, to bypass your rational mind and trigger emotional responses. It's propaganda disguised as pretty packaging. So stop reading with emotion and start reading with discernment. Ask yourself, what psychological lever are they pulling? What fear or desire are they exploiting? And once you understand this psychological warfare, you can finally defend yourself. Here's something else that blew my mind. When I figured it out, how they change the words and not the product, it's linguistic sleight of hand, designed to make us feel better about making objectively worse choices. So the same ingredients, but they're softer words. Sugar becomes evaporated cane juice, chemical additives become natural flavoring. They're kind of banking on our psychological need to feel virtuous about our consumption, right? It's the same poison with prettier packaging. And don't get me started on greenwashing, right? Those nature symbols, the leaves, the earth tones, the recycling logos. They're psychological props designed to make industrial waste appear wholesome. It's that everything is diesel mindset that I've come to realize. So you're not buying sustainability, you're buying the feeling of sustainability. And here's what's crucial to understand. Rebranding, it's not about the repentance. They don't care. When a company gets caught poisoning people, it's not they're going to change their practices. They're going to change their marketing department. Everybody's getting fired, so there's going to be a new logo, same corruption. But if you want to know the truth, flip the box over, read the ingredient list. The front of the packaging is propaganda. The ingredient list is usually reality most of the time. Most people won't take this step because it requires confronting some uncomfortable truths about their choices. So will you keep falling for linguistic manipulation, or will you develop the courage and see past their word games? In the Marine Corps infantry, we called this the illusion of choice. You could pick your MRE, be it beef stew, chili mac, chicken pesto, but you were still eating the same processed garbage, designed by the same contractors. Different flavors, same system keeping you fed and dependent, right? The grocery store operates on the identical principles, just with better marketing. Walk down any grocery aisle and you'll see what appears to be dozens of competing brands. But look closer and you'll see that each one of these brands are owned by the same parent corporation. They're not competing with each other. They're competing for shelf space in your mind and in the grocery aisle. Those different products, they came from the same factory. Let's be real here. Same ingredients, different packaging. They create artificial distinction where none exists. It's theatrical competition designed to make us feel like we're making meaningful choices. They don't just sell products, they define the entire landscape of what's possible. You think you're choosing between different options when you're really just choosing between their options. Real choice means stepping outside the predetermined framework. Stop asking which brand and start asking, do I need this category at all? And that's where you'll find actual freedom begins, when you refuse to play by their rules. So every word on every package has been weaponized. Every phrase is carefully crafted to make you think what they want you to think. Natural flavors means absolutely nothing. It's a legal term designed to sound wholesome while hiding chemical manipulation. They use vague language intentionally because specific language would reveal their deception. It's the euphemism categories, right? They slap clinically tested and scientifically proven on everything because they know you trust the authority of science, which is an awful thing to do. But most of these studies are industry-funded propaganda designed to produce predetermined conclusions. The real science asks uncomfortable questions. Corporate science provides comfortable answers, right? So don't forget, you're the target, I'm the target, we're all the target, and there's zero randomness here. Every word choice and every advertisement has been focus grouped, A/B tested, and psychologically optimized. Nothing is accidental. Your vocabulary and critical thinking are your only defenses. And your instincts, oh my goodness, don't let me forget that one. When someone uses vague terms like supports or helps or promotes, right, they're hiding something. Demand specificity. Ask uncomfortable questions. The moment you start thinking precisely about imprecise language, their power over you begins to crumble. And here's the most philosophical, the most sophisticated trick. They bypass our rational minds entirely by targeting your emotional responses. Once they trigger the right emotion, your logic becomes secondary. Fear and hope, those are the sales tools. They create a little bit of anxiety, not much, but enough to where it overwhelms, about a problem you didn't even know you had. Then they immediately offer you relief. Insurance companies sell the fear of disaster. Self-help gurus sell hope for transformation. Same psychological mechanism. Manufacture emotional tension and then provide the release valve. Crisis is always profitable, which is why there's always another emergency demanding your immediate attention. Scarcity, urgency, limited time offers, they're not real constraints. They're manufactured pressure designed to force quick decisions before you have time to think clearly. When you're flooded with information and deadlines and emotional intensity, your rational mind shuts down and your primitive brain takes over. That's exactly when they want you making decisions, when you're operating on pure emotion rather than careful analysis. Reclaim your mind by getting calm first. Right? Take a breath, chill. When someone is trying to rush you into a decision in the grocery store, that's your signal to slow down. When they're pushing emotional buttons, that's your cue to step back and think rationally. Clarity comes from stillness, not from chaos. Here's something I had to learn the hard way though. There is no corporate savior coming to rescue you from this corruption. You've been conditioned to believe that somewhere out there's a good company that actually cares about you. This is a naive search for the ethical corporation, and it's exactly what they're counting on, right? You'll spend your entire life switching from brand to brand thinking you found the clean option, while they're all playing the same game with different marketing strategies. Corporations don't have morals. They have profit margins. Even the companies that market themselves as ethical or sustainable or socially responsible, they're optimizing for shareholder returns overall, not your well-being. Their primary obligation is to their investors, not to you, not to me, not to us as a group. These companies know that modern consumers will pay premium prices for the feeling of morally superior, superior. So they're going to create ethical product lines that cost more to produce and give like the exact same psychological satisfaction at a higher price point. You are the last line of defense. This is what I want you guys to take away. Your individual sovereignty cannot be outsourced to any corporation, no matter how virtuous their marketing appears. Stop looking for someone else to make the right choices for you and start making them for yourself. The world operates on patterns that most people simply refuse to see. It's not that they can't see them, it's that seeing them requires taking some personal responsibility, and that is absolutely terrifying for most. So, first principle, tactics remain constant while the packaging shifts endlessly. The fundamental strategy of persuasion and manipulation haven't changed since ancient times. What changes is the wrapping paper. Social media, television, newspapers, same psychological principles, different delivery mechanisms, right? Second, stop memorizing ingredients and start understanding systems. Anyone can memorize a list, but understanding how components interact with structures, that's where true wisdom comes about. That's what separates people who see clearly from those who remain perpetually confused by surface level changes. Third, every deception carries its own signature. Lies have patterns, and once you learn to recognize them, you can't unsee them. So these inconsistencies reveal themselves through repetition and contradiction, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. This applies to everything: politics, relationships, media narratives. Fourth, once you see the patterns, you can't unsee them. This is your awakening moment. Take it, stand, take your sovereignty back. It's simultaneously liberating and burdensome, right? A lot of people forget the burdensome part, because now you're going to bear the responsibility of your knowledge. These aren't abstract concepts, they're practical tools for navigating a complex world that's designed to keep you confused and independent. But here's what they absolutely don't want you to realize. Your food choices are the most direct path to independence from their control system. The experts have catastrophically failed us. The nutritionists who created the obesity epidemic, the food scientists who engineered addiction, and they do it every single day, and those agencies that approve that poison, they've demonstrated their incompetence through your declining health and my declining health, but no longer. Stop trusting people who profit from keeping us sick and dependent. Choose brutal simplicity over sophisticated lies. If your grandmother couldn't recognize it as a food, it's not food. It's pretty simple. Real nutrition doesn't require marketing campaigns because it works through our biology, not our psychology. Local food equals local power. Every mile between us and our food source is another opportunity for corruption, processing, and contamination. Industrial agriculture treats you like livestock, feeding you cheap, addictive substances to maximize their profit margins. If you can, and I know it's a big if, hunt, grow, cook everything yourself. Every meal you prepare yourself is an act of defiance. Every seed we plant declares our independence from corporate food dependency. Take back whatever control you can get your hands on of what goes in your body, and take back control of your life. Look, I've been around control systems for multiple angles. 10 years as a vegan, following their health narratives, 4 years in the Marine Corps infantry, understanding how institutions shape behavior. I've watched people rationalize stealing while convinced they're justified in asset protection. The same psychological patterns run through everything. People surrendering their agency while believing they're making free choices. The entire system is designed to capture your attention and keep you perpetually distracted from what actually matters. Don't shop smarter, shop less, okay? The moment you try to outsmart the consumption trap, you're already been caught. In the Marine Corps, we learned that the best defense isn't armor. It's not being where the enemy expects you, right? Same principles apply here. Your mind is literally a battleground being systematically farmed. Be vigilant. Social media, advertising, endless notifications, these aren't accidents. They're weapons deployed against your capacity for deep thought and genuine contentment. Right? So train for discernment, not convenience. Convenience is the enemy of what character that we're trying to build. Whether it was choosing the easy vegan products over real nutrition, or watching people choose theft over honest work, I've seen it all about how comfort destroys your judgment. And your discernment, your capacity to see through deception, that's going to be your final defense. Every time you eat, you're voting not just for what enters your gut, but what controls your future. You're not made to live in fear of ingredients, but until you learn how to see the game, you will always be played by it. I've seen it on both sides of this. I've been the perfect customer, and I've watched the machine operate from the inside. If you want to understand how deep this rabbit hole goes, how they're manipulating your dopamine, your sleep, even your relationships, watch my next video, because once you see the full scope of their psychological warfare, there's no going back. The fight for your mind is just getting started. Let's go.